The Taproot Collective is a collection of teachers, community leaders, volunteers, and social advocates, all of whom found themselves united in the common goal of employing the vast resources here in Rochester to implement accessible, sustainable, and regenerative food systems.
In this video, we'd like to tell you about how we worked with the Taproot Collective to learn about their work developing educational urban gardens in order to support sustainability and accessibility of healthy food in Rochester, while joining them in this work and learning about ways to apply this model to community-based science learning.
In the United States, food deserts are believed to play an important role in limiting access to healthy food for low-income populations, with research highlighting inequalities in this access to healthy food by geographic region. This is an important issue across the United States, but also in Rochester, New York.
I happen to live in the city, and I think that our city areas are food deserts. I think that we don't have enough healthy choices because we don't have grocery stores in the inner city. I see that, for example, Tops is closing up shop and closing some of the stores in our inner cities, and I think that contributes to the food desert. There are opportunities for some healthy foods to be had from community groups, but as far as our local corner stores, they only provide food that are quick, inexpensive, and that doesn't always provide the best of nutritions.
The corner stores Mr. Donko Hansen mentions are an important part of this issue, with food swamps or areas with access to only unhealthy foods contributing to increases in obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and other health issues. In the United States, millions of people live in geographic pockets without access to supermarkets, a problem disproportionately impacting low-income communities and communities of color. And in Rochester, this problem impacts people every day.
Krebs, Moorburg, and Ormsby write that addressing food insecurity should allow at-risk communities to construct their own sustainable food practices rather than simply supplying them with handouts that reinforce a cycle of dependency on outside assistance. One example of such an initiative is community gardening.
Urban gardens are a subset of community gardens that, just like you might expect, involve planting in an urban environment, which we think could be part of dealing with food swamps that exist in urban areas.
The most obvious benefit of urban agriculture is that it improves access to healthy foods.
But it also helps revitalize communities and teach us to better appreciate the food we eat. We also believe that urban gardens can support this revitalization by directly engaging users of the garden in their design and planning process and providing ways for them to control the sites once they are completed. This is the work the Taproot Collective is doing.
For example, as a part of Taproot's work building the first market farm, an educational urban garden right next to Rochester's public market, they are rebuilding a house on the property with the plan of providing dignified housing for members of the Rochester community who will ultimately take over the farm for Taproot.
While working on this farm with members of the Taproot Collective, we also learned about the literacies associated with urban gardening, specifically those that relate to science learning.
We believe that learners are better equipped to face the boundaries they experience as a result of disconnects between science culture and their cultures when they are motivated and are able to leverage their funds of knowledge.
Science learning as inquiry, for example through engagement in community gardening, can serve to activate motivation, culture, and prior knowledge, in part through its roots in community engagement.
When we worked with Taproot, members of the Taproot Collective supported this interaction by translating across their own disciplinary literacies and the literacies we brought to Taproot, often using multimodality as a communication tool through the use of maps and gesturing.
We learned that the use of disciplinary literacies and code switching helped engage volunteers in doing science and feeling involved in science literacies.
Going through with Ellie and kind of talking about the different plants and seeing how she can kind of identify things and how different plants can work together within the same area to help each other. Like Ellie was telling us how she plants the radishes and the carrots kind of in between each other. that the radishes provide this almost like umbrella for the carrots to help them grow even when there's really harsh rain coming down and things like that. So just seeing kind of different plant interactions with each other is kind of a really cool way to see science and what we're doing.
For all these reasons, we encourage you to get involved in urban gardening, whether it's to become part of activism work that helps promote sustainability or to lead others through culturally sustaining learning that is motivating and supports people in developing science identities. Ooh yeah.
You can learn more about the Taproot Collective, our work with them, and additional information about school-based urban gardens in our supplemental information and on the Taproot Collective website.